What do you know about Disney XD? Oh man, for an '05 kid, that took me back to the early days. Now, on this day, Disney XD officially launched on February 13th, 2009. Yeah, 16 years ago. Yeah, 16 years of a run. But yeah, those that watched Disney XD during its early days, we have officially reached Unk status. Like, I actually felt old during the Jetix era, and I was on the younger side of the audience. While there's no argument that Disney, Nickelodeon, and Cartoon Network are always going to remain the big three of channels growing up, Disney XD was just different. Compared to its now out-of-action graveyard, Disney XD had an insanity run that lasted far throughout the 2010s. And it truly sucks that the new generation is never going to witness the GOAT status this channel had at its prime. The amount of memories that I made from watching these shows was just mind-blowing. Randy Cunningham 9th Grade Ninja was an absolute favorite of mine, and it was a classic banger. Growing up, I had a top tier of 4 different types of superheroes I always wanted to be growing up. A billionaire with so much motion that he was able to build his own advanced suits in order to fight crime. A hero with an extensive artillery of various weapons. A person whose main power is super speed, and a ninja. Not only does this dude check off all the above, he is doing this as a teenager. And from all the fight scenes, the unique animation, various power-ups, and weapons, even from Randy's entire transformation sequence, you would think this dude's clip farming. Slugterra was another absolute favorite of mine. The show was mainly about this famous slug slinger whose son Eli Shane has to travel around the 99 caverns and defeat the forces of evil, led by this guy, Dr. Black. I am not kidding, this dude's name is Dr. Black. Yeah, the palest businessman in the 99 caverns is Dr. Black. Anyway, Eli had to defeat the forces of evil by building a squad of slug slingers and an arsenal of slugs. I mean, the show already had Nerf guns, which was already cool in itself, and now they have slugs that transform into the most insane beast after hitting 100 miles per hour? They really don't make shows like this anymore. So while the good side of slug slingers had slugs, what did the dark side have? Yeah, well, let's just say their ammunition involves giving their slugs a special red gas that turns them into ghouls. And I'm not even gonna hold you. This terrified me as a kid growing up. They even had a ghoul called the Goon. The dev team really thought, you know what, let's call this special ghoul the Goon. But apart from, well, that, you can try out all these types of slugs in the Slug It Out app, one of the many Disney XD apps, and shout out to all Disney XD apps, man. This game was literally Candy Crush, minus all the annoying ads after every level. You just collected slugs, dueled against other slug slingers with no ads. Like, what more can you ask for? And of all the series that I honestly watched, Slugterra was a show that really got me into drawing, animation, and pretty much anything art related. Back in elementary school, I used to carry a blue notebook where I used to draw out every single slug along with their transformations. And I mean every single transformation. I'm pretty sure when my family was moving across the country, it's still in one of the storage boxes. I guess one of these days I'll do some artifact digging. But yeah, had it not been for Slugterra jump-starting my creativity, I probably would be in a completely different field, and probably would have never started this channel. But yeah, big shout out to Slugterra. Kid vs. Cat was another classic of mine. If anybody were to ask me why a dog is a man's best friend, this show is always gonna come up as my top reason. I mean, a 10-year-old kid is literally beefing with a cat. Like, these two were mortal enemies. This is some grade A type of beef, bro. If these two were to be in the same room, 9 times out of 10, it was on site. Now, the show mainly revolves around this kid called Coop, who has to fight his little sister's cat, who is actually an evil alien trying to take over the world. I mean, dude has to fight extraterrestrial threats on the daily. Saying that this 10-year-old is the world's unspoken hero is an understatement, because nobody believes this guy when this hairless furball gets away from his failed scheme scot-free. Bro is literally the janitor of this cat's litter box. And best believe I hated this man's dad. Like, you would think your son is telling you something was wrong with this cat over and over. But hey, considering this dude's lava lamp build, yeah, it's no wonder I can sense the lack of brain sense going around your cranium. Like, this man literally lacks critical thinking. It's no wonder he gets scared off by his neighbor, Old Lady Munson. Bro, she was one of the funniest characters when this came out. And to this day, whenever I see a Karen tweaking out, I think, oh shoot, she got that Old Lady Munson mentality. Yeah, Old Lady Munson's level of rage. But this man's little sister, Millie, she was so annoying. Literally every time she doesn't get what she wants, she always screams out this signature battle cry. Like, I am telling you, her screams are causing seismic earthquakes. She's literally committing off-the-chart levels of destruction, all for the littlest thing. And you guys think that kids like DW and Caillou are that bad? Nah, she got it. Another Disney XD banger was Camp Lakebottom, where these kids, McGee, Gretchen, and Squirt, were supposed to go at Camp Sunny Smiles, but this excuse of a country kid redhead Butt Squat, I swear to you, I'm not kidding. Bro's literal name is Jordan Butt Squat. Best believe if I was ever given a nickname like Butt Squat, I'm going right down to town hall to change that name, or I'm packing my stuff up and moving across the country. Because there is no way I'm getting that level of disrespect. Anyway, this dude literally located these three guys to this place called Camp Lakebottom, where a domesticated theater of a Sasquatch, a chef that cooked up some of the wildest delicacies, yeah, we're talking Max Tennyson specialties, and a zombie as your daily camp counselors while every other monster within the woods tries to kill you. I mean, with the amount of insane stuff they get themselves into is insane, and it's funny how the main character, McGee, the McGeezer, just casually writes letters to his mom like this stuff shouldn't be reported. Dear Mom, my Sasquatch is a spy. Dear Mom, I think my sister came from the underworld. Dear Mom, I just defused a nuclear stink bomb. Best believe something must have discontinued up north because the producers for these Canadian shows were on some level of gas when they were bringing out shows like this. Like, these guys were cooking straight up bangers. Lab Rats was another goated Disney XD show. The show revolves around a rich guy who crafts bionic kids who he oddly raised in his basement to become the next generation of the human race. That don't matter because this man Leo carried. The day this dude finally got bionics, it went around like it was a talk of the school. There was one character I always hated. It was this dude right here. Oh my god, this dude had me fuming when he pulled off this face. Like, that's how I knew some BS was gonna go down. Whoever played this character knew his part. I gotta give my respect out because that was an elite performance. And I will forever rue the day that we were wrapped up a fight between Marcus and Leo because they knew this matchup would go down as a top 10 battle of the ages. This is gonna be the ultimate showdown. All that just to get blown up and swept across the floor. Like, are we not gonna address that they literally packed this dude even though he's a robot? He still got packed. I mean, bro literally got disassembled and sent to storage. And I think that was the last time I ever really saw him, but dude, there is no way he went out like that. Like, that's just crazy. Star vs. the Forces of Evil was another banger that needs no explanation. I was tuning into this banger since day one. Just a month ago, this series hit its 10-year anniversary. 10 years, a decade. Never would I thought I'd see the day. Anyways, the show revolves around this princess named Star Butterfly who lives in this magical world of Muni, where she has to master her magic. How does she do that? She goes to another dimension called Earth, where she meets this boy, Marco Diaz, where they fight monsters on the daily. And you won't even believe the situations that they get themselves into. I don't know whether it's Star's entire family, but there's always some type of peace going around, but whenever a butterfly shows up, 9 times out of 10 it will always lead into a chaotic type of brawl. And there was this dude named Ludo, bro. He was a complete idiot. I mean, bro's life goal was to take Star's wand and take over all of Muni, but he was just so dumbfounded. I mean, you know bro's an idiot when even his own henchman who he fired managed to snag it in a day after getting laid off, even after getting his own wand, possessing an entire family lineage of spells just to master an itsy-bitsy levitation spell. I mean, in his defense, Ludo was pretty funny and that kind of made his character entertaining, but the only thing that I truly hated about this series, and I think it's something everybody can agree on, was the finale. Yeah, the last episode was straight garbage. I mean, y'all can say what you want about the whole Starco shipping, but out of all the Disney XD shows, this has to be the worst finale I've ever seen. In how it was handled, I mean, the entire production for Season 4 was a little rushed and only aired for like, 2 months? There was just so much shipping and so much plot that was crammed into one singular season. It honestly just felt rushed. Another goated series from Disney XD, and by extension the greatest show of all time, is Gravity Falls. Now, I was seriously debating on whether or not to include this series because it originally aired on Disney Channel, but considering its record-breaking viewership on both channels, it will be a crime to not include this on my list of top-tier Disney XD shows. Despite airing over a decade ago, the fandom culture is still going strong to this day. Gravity Falls was genuinely so huge that not even shows like The Owl House or Amphibia, 2 really good shows by the way, highly recommend, couldn't even transcend to the grip hold Gravity Falls had on its viewers. The only show that truly beats it out was Phineas and Ferb. These two shows pulled in so much motion that Disney really decided, you know what, let's just put Gravity Falls on Disney XD so we can have two dominating shows on two different channels. That should really tell you how much of a gap there is between these two shows and the rest of the content. And here's some honorable mentions before I go to the last Disney XD banger, because if I were to mention every single show that aired on this channel, this video would have been an hour-long yap session. Anyways, the last Disney XD banger is an absolute certified classic we can never forget about. An absolute banger of a show that's gotta be on everyone's top 3 list. An absolute banger that really pioneered the most insane, jaw-dropping stunts that dudes like iShowSpeed pull on the daily. The very first Disney XD original that kickstarted the era of Disney XD. AKA Kick Buttowski. This dude started the stuntman era. Genuinely, with the amount of crazy stuff that I've seen people pull, I always draw back to this Daredevil. Before the insane bike stunts on mountains to the insane builds from Phineas and Ferb, shoot, even from the insane tricks behind Tony Hawk. At a certain point, this dude was the face of skateboarding. I mean, with the amount of stunts that this man pulled was just so satisfying. I mean, his notorious older brother, peers, neighbor, teacher, anybody that wasn't a true friend like Gunther to Kick was either an insane fangirl like Wacky Jackie or an absolute hater. I mean, they were preying on this dude's downfall. The best thing is, I would always remember after coming home from school, doing all my assignments, and after doing all my chores, I would just hop on my iPad and watch episodes on the Disney XD app. And all in all, I think we really need to give Disney XD more of a shout out for having a heavy influence in our childhoods growing up. And the sad thing is that in the future, and probably starting now, is that the channel is going on a rapid decline, shutting down in a lot of countries, and that kids are really going to ask, what's Disney XD? And that's officially going to become our old man term. I talk about a full circle moment, man. I have something to say to Disney and by extension the other big networks. How could you guys let your networks have this bad of a downfall? It is mind-boggling how greed really brought your downfall due to the rise of streaming services like Netflix. I mean, if you were going to change your entire platform to streaming services, change it completely to streaming and shut down cable. Like, the majority of your international base is using streaming now. I mean, that's a problem solved in itself. And don't act all cheeky by saying that cable would have been absolutely pointless, like, even though there was never even a good point to keep cable in the first place. And yeah, this could cost millions, but if you're one of the entertainment industries that's leading in revenue, you may as well try it out. I mean, there's only so many raises in the price I can take. To wrap this up on a good note, we do not remember days, we remember moments. And another moment to always remember is to follow me on IG and Twitter and subscribe to the channel. And like always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.